Alright everyone, Cowboy Trades here, welcome back to the channel. Is this a Solana bull market or is this another bull trap? Let's talk about it. So what's happened in the past week? Since the 29th of December, Solana has bounced from $8 all the way up to almost $14. It's currently residing at $13.39, representing a 76% pump in literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. This is crazy. So why has this happened? Well, if you're part of the Solana community, you may have noticed an airdrop from this coin called BONK in the past week or so. If we come over to their one page, you can basically see this is how I imagine most of you would have received this airdrop. If you're part of a Solana NFT community, maybe it's DGods, maybe it's DGen Ape Academy, DGen Trash Pandas, Bounty Hunters, one of the top blue chip NFTs, then it's very, very likely that you got a airdrop of BONK. So I do recommend to go and check your Phantom wallet, Solflare, whatever you are using in case you did get that airdrop, so you can go act accordingly, hodl it, liquidate it, up to you of course. I've recently just liquidated my BONK. I didn't even realize I got airdropped this until like an hour ago, but nonetheless it's probably a good thing that I didn't realize because it is up 1,300% in 5 days. So I have just liquidated. I'm not really too interested in charting this, but this is the reason why Solana has increased in price. So obviously, a lot of the Solana community, they're Web3 degenerates, and I don't mean that as an insult. What I mean by this is, a lot of the places where you would be trading BONK, so for example, eToro, MetX, Huobi, Hotbit, a lot of you probably don't have an account over on these places. Like myself, I don't want to go make an account on Huobi to liquidate. I don't want to make an account on Huobi to go buy, so I'll use a Web3 application like Jupiter. And how would I trade? How would I go and trade BONK? Well, I need Solana to do that in the first place. So as you can see, the price of BONK is skyrocketing, even though this was a free airdrop. So this can only mean two things. Number one, people are excited about a new Solana token, and subsequently they just want to buy Sol because they think it's going to go up in price. Or number two, which is why predominantly I think we've gone up this much, it is the demand for Solana has increased. And what I mean by that is, like I said, a lot of NFT degenerates, a lot of degenerates on the Solana ecosystem, they don't want to go and make an account with Huobi. Once again, not an insult when I say Solana degenerate, Web3 degenerate. I don't want to make an account with one of these exchanges. That's very, very long. I'd much rather use a decentralized application like Jupiter. And with that, if I was going to go buy BONK, how would I do that? I can't deposit Great British pounds into my Phantom account. What I need to do is I need to go buy Solana, and then I need to transfer it, and then I need to go over to Jupiter and convert that Solana into BONK. So demand for BONK has gone up, which basically means demand for Solana has gone up. So I personally don't really see BONK doing too much else. That doesn't mean that I think it's topped out at this moment in time. I definitely think this could probably push up to 100 million market cap or so, maybe a little bit further. But what I would be saying is at this moment in time, if we do come over to Solana, like we literally just talked about, Solana has literally just had a 74-75% pump in a matter of days. Now, we have had previous pumps before in Solana during this bear market. You can see it topped out at 260, and we had a brutal breakdown, and then after then we put in a 90% pump. But how long did this pump take? This pump took 38, 39 days. What happened with the next pump? This took 80. This was an 87% pump. So this pump was slightly smaller than the previous one, and you can also see this pump took much longer to take out. This took about 2 months or 62 days, and we've just put in a 75% pump in 6 days. So while this is coming on par with the previous two, so by default, if this is going to be like a 3% decrease or so, then maybe this might come down to 84 or 83% increase. However, we've literally just run up 75-76% in a matter of 5 days, and I do believe this is going to be a monumental dead cat bounce before the next brutal move back down to the downside. So if you're wondering what my price target is, it actually hasn't changed from my previous prediction. I believe we made a video on this 4 days ago, but the last prediction we had for Solana, the last time we gave you a new price target was quite a while ago. Maybe it was, yeah, around about here. We talked about $5 being in play, and of course $4.50 being in play, and you can see you know, since I've drawn out this prediction from all the way back here, you know, the price is actually at the same level that I predicted this. And I do, of course, still believe that we're coming down to $5 and $4.50 in the next month or so. Now, in the next month or two, should I say. I don't think it will happen in the next month, but nonetheless, if we do clear up the chart, you can see once again we're currently residing in a beautiful reversion to the mean while we're sitting in the EMA ribbons. We're almost at the long-term moving average, which is at $15. I do want you to know that it is potential that we could push up to $15, maybe even a little bit higher before we do start moving to the downside. But what I would highlight is, you know, this is a reversion to the mean at $14. The last time we had a reversion to the mean was here at $15. The last time we reverted above the mean was up here at $38. The time before that, this was, you know, basically $39. I think this one was slightly higher. So you can actually see with every reversion to the mean, we seem to be getting lower and lower in price since we flipped short on the EMA ribbons at $48 to $49 for Solana. So, you know, it's very, very simple looking at the chart. You know, we have had a monumental breakdown because of FUD, and now we're having a monumental pump because of these new dog coins, this new hype event. But I do not believe this will last forever. So, as I don't believe this will last forever, actually, quickly, just before we do look at the oscillators, let me show you where we're pumping up to in both the higher time frames and the lower time frames. If I clear this up, just very, very temporarily, just to make this a little bit more visible. You can see we've got a massive fixed volume profile where there was a lot of data traded right here. And I say a lot of data traded, it's not too much data traded, but look at what's beneath us. Straight line to the upside. Look at what's above us. Straight line to the upside. This range that we're in right now, where there's a decent amount of liquidity traded, is really the only range that we've got. So we've got a big volume profile here, and we've got a big volume profile down here, and you can see we perfectly touched this volume profile at $8 before taking a massive run to the upside. What do you think is going to happen when we come up to this huge area of liquidity and bonk it on the head? Just like the bonk token, I do think this is going to start moving back down to that next volume cluster once again to $8. We might have a little bounce around in this range before moving down to $5. So, you know, in the higher time frames, you can see on the weekly right here, we're reverting right back to a huge volume profile. And if I come over to the daily, where are we reverting to? Let's look at this range that we're currently trading in. Let's look at where the VPVR is. The most amount of volume traded is right here at $13.68. Where did we push up to today? We pushed up to exactly this price target, a tiny bit higher, but you get my drift. On the higher time frames, we're sitting in this orange box, which is a huge area of liquidity. In the lower time frames, we just pushed up to $13.65, which is a huge area of liquidity. And just before we move on with the Solana analysis, if you do watch this channel, if for more than just Solana content, you know that I also do like to cover the stock market, equity markets, bond markets, forex markets. I like to look at, you know, inflation, government bonds, all of that good stuff, real yields, and most importantly, liquidity. Right now for the E-mini futures and the SP 500, basically looking at liquidity conditions for the stock market is very overextended in terms of its mid-price and also liquidity contracts. So there's a very large overextension in volume happening in the stock market, and we're seeing the exact same thing happening right now in Solana as we are grabbing this liquidity. Now, when I do look at the daily time frame, when we do look at some of our oscillators, let's start off on the MFI. You can see the MFI basically came all the way down to 8, and now it's taking a huge run to the upside. You can see in the slightly lower time frames from the 5th of October, we've established a trend line that comes into play at 60. But like I said, if Bonk keeps on pushing up for the next few days or so, it is possible that Solana can come all the way up to this MFI target at 71.72. And that is definitely, if we do push up to 71.72, I will be looking to put in a new short for Solana. Right now, I'm really just watching this madness unfold. I'm currently not in a short at this moment in time, but I do have active interest in entering another short for Solana if we do push up to 72 for the money flow index. Now, Moving on from here, stochastic RSI. Stochastic RSI is hugely turning up at this moment in time, and the blue line has almost crossed 80, meaning we're getting very overextended right now. And you can see the last time where these two lines, the two moving average, crossed over this level. What happened? Well, we were very overextended. We pushed above 80 and we pushed up to 99.5, and the orange line pushed up to about 83, and you can see this previous overextension in the stock RSI correlated to this exact top at $14 before we pulled all the way back down to $8. So once again, stochastic is not quite there yet, just like the MFI could potentially not be quite there yet. But if we do push up a little bit further, do get a little bit more of a push, potentially up to the top of this volume profile, maybe we move up to $15, maybe we turn around tomorrow. I don't have a crystal ball, but what I do know is we are in a massive area of interest, and if we're looking at the EMA ribbons, we are reversing back to the mean, we're grabbing liquidity, we're seeing everything we need to set up for another short that I will post on my channel if I do enter. So right now, stochastic heading up very strongly and will soon become overextended. MFI is already pushing above the heart line. I do believe this is overextended right now, pushed up very quickly, just like the liquidity contracts for the SP500, very overextended right now. And also, like I said, if we push up a little bit further, I'd like to see the MFI at 72, and I'd like to see the stochastic RSI push up to this 95, 99 range. And if this does happen, I will be entering a new short for Solana that I will keep you up to date on. Now, as well, for the squeeze momentum indicator, we quite recently broke down into a bearish trend, and we're pushing back up and resetting at the heart line, which I personally don't think we're going to have, you know, some huge new bullish trend. I think this is very healthy for bears to see us push into bullish territory, maybe for a day or so. Maybe we approach the heart line and start breaking down again, but this is what we need to see to have that next big major momentum move for Solana. On the weekly time frame, really not too much has changed. You can actually see squeeze momentum indicator is refusing to even acknowledge this pump, because we've obviously been melting down so much for the past few months that this pump isn't actually too detrimental to the trend whatsoever. Like I just highlighted, you can see even in the past month or so, since the 6th of November, we're up here at $39, and you've got a high, you've got a low, you've got a lower high, you've got a lower low, you've got a lower high, you've got a lower low, and this is quite possibly going to be another lower high. Like I said, it's possible that we push up to the top of the range again, $15, and break down. This would also correlate to the EMA ribbons, or we could top out now and turn down after grabbing liquidity. Like I said, I don't have a crystal ball, but for the next trade, I will be very safe and make sure that if we are shorting, and I am posting it on the channel, that we are at a very healthy level for the oscillators. Now, in terms of the MFI on the weekly time frame, you can also see we actually hit this trend line and started to turn down. This is like a line of best fit right now. You can draw it like this if you want. I think just kind of drawing it from where there's a clear rejection here, clear rejection here, clear rejection here, and clear rejection here is very healthy. So MFI, I do believe this is overextended right now. Of course, we've just come into this mean trend line. It looks like we want to start heading down. The stochastic RSI is actually crossing bullish in the immediate short term, so this could be something to keep your eyes on. Like I said, there's a few contrarian indicators right now. I would definitely keep an eye on the stochastic, but looking at the daily time frame, if this continues to push up and we do continue to see, just like we talked about again, you know, that overextension hit on the MFI and also on the stochastic, that would be a great place for me to let you know that I would be entering a new short. Like I said, nothing set in stone right now. I'm really watching the madness unfold. Now, if we do come over to Sol BTC, what's quite interesting about this is you can see we plummeted through the floorboards, and now we're having another huge rush up to the upside. But we've done this again and again and again. You can see brutal landslide to the downside, huge euphoric run. And whenever these happen, once again, huge move to the downside, huge euphoric run back up. You can see with Solana, because of the community, because people are quite degenerative in the Solana ecosystem, a lot of these rallies, they happen like that. They happen, you know, over here, this was a 3-week rally and then a meltdown. Over here, this was a 2-week rally, and sure, we lollygagged and poked our head above the top of the trend again, but more or less, you know, the rally was done after 2 weeks. Over here, the rally was done after 3 weeks. And right now, we're having an absolutely huge rush to the upside. So like I said, you know, looking at Sol BTC, this is also a chart that says, hey, we can push up a tiny bit higher. And also when we're looking at Sol USD, you know, looking at the oscillators, some of them on the daily say we can push up a bit higher. And also looking at the volume profiles, it's possible we push up to $15 before starting to head back down. But I wouldn't count on Solana pushing up too much further. And if we do head over to the on-chain metrics, we've talked about these quite extensively in our previous videos, but really nothing has changed. I mean, we're at the exact same place that we were a month ago in terms of, you know, daily transactions. And when we're looking at the 3-month time frame, you can just see a plethora of lower lows, bounces, lower lows, bounces. This was a lower low and then a bounce. So with all of these, you know, nothing has changed in the higher time frames. You can see the value moved on chain, even in the past month, is still down. In the past 3 months, it's absolutely through the floorboards, and in the past 12 months, it looks like this has literally fallen through hell. Solana value moved on chain. Once again, looking at the past 12 months, nothing has changed in the higher time frames. This does seem to answer the title of the video. I do not believe this is a new bull run for Solana. I do not believe the bottom is in. I believe this is not a bull run. I believe it's a bull trap. And with that, when this is done, whether we push up to 15 and start heading down, or whether we start heading down tomorrow, I do think it's likely we push up a little bit further. Like I said, $15 is definitely on the table. I do believe we'll be coming all the way down to $5, then maybe $4.50. And when we do get around to these ranges, these are the areas where I actually plan on buying Solana. This is where my open interest starts to spike in the market. People called me crazy for not wanting to buy at $25. They called me crazy for not wanting to buy at, you know, $50. They called me crazy for not buying $100. They called me crazy for being bearish this whole time. But when we come down to $5, that is where my open interest in the market is going to spike. I really don't think we're too far away from this price target. As you can see, since the last prediction, we're actually at the exact same level. We're tiny bit down, but still, I do still see this 62.7% drop taking place in the next 2-3 months or so for Solana. But in the next month, particularly in the next month, I think we're heading all the way down to $8. So keep your eyes on that in the immediate short term. Like I said, we could push up to $15, but from where we are now, that's about a 41.5% drop. If we push up to $15, this would mean a 47.5% drop. I don't believe the bottom is in. That's all I've got for you for this video. As always, if you do enjoy the content, let me know down below by leaving a like and a comment. Share the videos with your friends. It's been your boy Cowboy Trades. I'm out. Peace.